it's time for day 14 of cursive handwriting. We're learning our capital letters. Today we're going to learn capital Z, capital Q, and capital L. Okay, we'll start out with our capital Z. It's a little bit strange. You start your capital Z a tiny bit below the top line, and you curve around and make that same motion that we've made for our H, for our K, for several letters. Now, remember when we made our lowercase z? I'm just going to make one right here. The lowercase z went up, then it had another little tiny heel, then went down into the bottom and looped around. Remember that? So our capital Z is a little bit similar to that. So it's going to have this first motion, then it's going to have a little tiny heel right there. Then that drops down into the basement, curves around this way, and come up with the tail. So it looks a little strange. You know, if you think about the way a print Z looks, this is like the top, this is the slanted line in the middle, and this is kind of the back. So it starts a little bit below the top line, comes down, touches the bottom, make a little heel right there. Then that little heel keeps on going down into the basement and then loops around. And that's a capital Z. When you're ready, you can pause this video and practice making a line of capital Z. And then you can go back and look at all of them and find the one that you think is your very best and circle it. Okay, we're ready for capital Q. I'm going to show you two ways to make a capital Q. I'm going to show you the easy way and a harder way that you might see it. Most people nowadays make a Q that looks very similar to the print Q. You start just like you're going to make an O. That's your top line. You come all the way around. You stop. You pick up your pencil. You come inside to the bottom of your Q and just put this little curved line, and it comes down underneath your bottom line and goes into the basement a little bit. So this is the way that you will mostly see people make Qs. Very simple. You just make your circle, come into the bottom, and make that little curved line that goes down under the line there. Very simple to make a capital cursive Q. Now, whenever I was in school, I didn't learn to make a Q this way. I learned to make a Q that looked almost like the number 2. You start a little bit below the top line, and it loops around, comes down to the bottom line, has a loop, and then that loop comes down underneath the line. You may see people still make Qs that way. Like if you were to get a card from maybe your grandmother or your aunt, and they wrote it in cursive, they might make a Q that way. So you need to just know, be on the lookout for somebody making a Q that way and know that that's a Q. And obviously you can choose how you want to write it. You can make your Qs this way or this way. This is just a simpler way. So when you're ready, you can pause this video and make a line of capital Q. Then go back and find the one that you like the most and circle it. Now we're ready for my favorite letter to make in cursive. I think the capital L is just a lot of fun to make. It looks fancy and it just gives you that really good cursive look. Your capital L is going to start at the dotted line. It starts at the dotted line. Now remember, we've got to have our slanting this way. We're going to loop up and touch the top and loop back around this way. So you've got that first loop. Then you're going to come down, you're going to touch the bottom line. Then you're going to be coming out this way with your loop. Make a big loop, and then it comes out with a tail that goes down below the line just like it did in your Q. So it's a very loopy letter, L is. So it starts at the dotted line, it goes up and comes with the loop, down, a loop, and then underneath the line. So see how fancy that looks? It's just a lot of fun. And lots of times kids have a hard time when they're first learning how to make the capital L. It doesn't look the way they don't want it to look. Don't get frustrated. Just keep practicing. The more you practice, the better it'll get. Okay, when you're ready, you can pause this video and practice making a line of capital L, and then go back and circle the one that you think is your best. Okay, let's practice a few words. We've already learned how to make the capital N, so we can write New Zealand. New Zealand is a country. So it's two separate words. They both start with a capital letter. So the first thing we'll do is write new, N-E-W. So there's new. Then we'll write Zealand. Z-E-A-L-A-N-D. New Zealand. Okay, you can pause this video and practice writing New Zealand. Okay, now we'll write a word with a capital Q. We'll write queen. So we'll make the Q this way, Q. Now you won't connect to this. Same thing with your L. You won't connect your next letter to that. You'll just start it up here. So we've got Q, U, E, E, N. Queen. Q, U, E, E, N. So you can pause this video and practice writing the word queen. Okay, now we'll practice a name that starts with L. We'll practice the name Lucy. So we're going to start at the dotted line, L. Now, this does not connect, so we'll just come right back up here with our U, L, U, C, Y. L, U, C, Y. Okay? Pause this video and practice writing the word Lucy. Okay, tomorrow we'll come back together for day 15, where we'll learn capital F, T, and I.